welcome to E Speaks in another episode of Peace Beyond the Splinter. We're doing a Splinter series. My name is Angela Gibson, and with me today is my esteemed host or co-host, Dawn Ori. The focus today is abundance beyond the splinter. Tell me who doesn't want some abundance.
Listen, my favorite topic.
That's her favorite
Favorite topic.
So, Don, thank you for joining us. You look wonderful and welcome.
Thank you for having me, Angela, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of such an amazing topic. I can't wait to share with your guests, with your audience, exactly what we're talking about with abundance beyond the splinter. It's a major, wonderful thing to have happen, and I'm excited to be a part. So thank you.
Now, if you don't know, again, this is E Speaks, and Angie Speaks is a derivative of E Speaks, and essentially the journey or the bedrock of our platform is to heal, aspire, and grow. And that should all prepare us for abundance. So let me start off by asking Coach Dawn Ori, who is such a champion for abundance. What does
So
abundance mean
funny.
to you, Dawn?
So abundance actually isn't something that means something to me personally. It is a principle. It is a divine principle that we are all given the opportunity and the space to live. It's not just for me, but it is something that is available to us all. It is the life of all lives that we could ever dream in our minds to have, to live, to experience, and to grow into, and to live every single second of every day, getting more of.
I like that.
It's the never ending expansion of
Mm,
all good things.
all good things. So people, I would you say that there's a common misconception about what abundance is? And if you think that, what misconceptions have you come across in terms of what it means
So
to
a lot of times people believe that, well, they associate abundance and money.
mm,
That's the most common thing that people associate abundance with, because in the materialistic sense of it, it is what gives us wealth. So they think of having a lot of money as having abundance. And while that is financially abundance, that's not necessarily an abundant life. Why? Because
ah,
you have millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires. Now we got our first trillionaire officially. If Jeff Bezos got sick and there was no cure, that would not be a life of abundance, because health and vitality is also a part of one of the 6 areas that create the life of abundance that we live. It's
well,
not just one
hold on,
thing.
coach,
It's
hold on, coach. So, coach, what you're
oh,
saying,
sorry.
you have 6 areas that define abundance? Well, tell me about the six
Six
areas. It sounds like
so
a
six
different
areas that,
experience.
yeah, well, it's like a whole life experience. Like, you don't have just one area of your life that makes you alive.
Uh-huh.
Your heartbeat makes you alive, but so does your breathing, and so does your brain function. They are all different things, right? They're all different things. So they all have different ways of creating the life that comes to your body. You can be brain dead, but your body still function,
Mhm.
right? You can, your all of your stuff will still be running, but that's not full life.
Right,
Do you know what I mean? You could have your heart function at, some people, 3%,
right.
but
So,
just because it's functioning, because it's not functioning at its full capacity, giving you all that it could, that's
mhm,
not full living,
right.
if that were. And so it's the same kind of experience with abundance. If you have horrible relationships, right?
Right.
And you have a great business, but
Hmm.
you can't get along with your husband, or your kids don't like you, or they don't know you, that's not abundance.
Mm. So since there seems to be, it's a principle, and you mentioned that there are 6 areas. What are these areas that has been defined?
So the way I define it, there are very distinct areas. It's your money, of course, but
Mhm.
that's not the main one. I'm sorry, I have someone trying to get to me right now. So they're reaching out to me on all different ways, and I need them to stop. So let me send them a quick message to tell them to stop because I'm on a call. But there are 6 different ways. So you have your money, right? You have your health, right? You have your spiritual connections. You also have your physical connection with yourself. You
Okay.
have your relationships with other people. And
Mhm.
then you also have the healthy part of your body.
Mm.
So there are 6 places where any one of those areas is off and it doesn't allow you to have an abundant life. Do you know what I mean?
So are you saying then that if just one part is off, then that's not an abundant life?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the way that it works is it's like having a dysfunction,
Mm.
right? It's like having dysfunction. So and it's not just one area. It
Right.
only shows up in one area.
So more than
But it
likely, the other places that where it's just not obvious to the viewers.
exactly, it's not touching everything where everyone can see and it's obvious to everyone.
Wow.
Doesn't mean it doesn't exist and it doesn't affect everything, because think of it again as your body. If your heart is not functioning properly,
Right.
then your lungs are going to have to work 2 or 3 times harder to get the oxygen to your blood, and then your circulation is off, and then your brain function is off because your circulation is off, and your energy level is down because your circulation is off, because your heart is not functioning, because you're not breathing. So it's all a part of everything. But really, when you get the diagnosis, you say, oh, I have heart problems.
Right.
But no, you got body problems.
You got body problems.
You got body problems. And every system depends on all the rest.
Right.
So it's the same. Every system depends on all the rest. So it's the same with abundance. Every system depends on all the rest. I got coached by a wonderful person. Her name is Cece.
Mm-hmm.
And Cece really brought home to me that how you do anything is how you do everything.
Wow.
So one level
Anything
one,
is how you do everything. What does that
how
mean?
you do
What does
anything.
that mean for you
So
specifically?
so for me, right?
Uh,
I had a thing where I was like, I'm not good with money. I used to say that. I'm not good with money. But at the same time, I wasn't good with money. I also wasn't good with my body. I just
mm,
didn't say that because that wasn't as obvious, because that was normal. Like there were a lot of people around me who weren't good with their bodies. There were
mm.
a lot of people around me who weren't good with money, right? But I didn't want to be one of those people. So I was working towards that. But the other stuff, and then I had like inner issues. So I was a little heart sick. So my soul was off a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you think about those 3 areas, but the only one that you really focus on, or only one that I focused on, was money. But I didn't realize that I needed to fix my soul, and my habits of eating and what I put into my body had everything to do with how my bank account showed up,
So
how things.
it sounds to me like there is a prerequisite to the abundant life.
There are always a
I tell you
prerequisite.
what I think it is. What would you say it is? What is the prerequisite to getting this abundant life?
So the first thing that you need to do is analyze yourself
Mm-hmm.
before you start looking at where the money is off, where the relationships are off, where the diet is off, where the relationship with God is off, where the jobs are off and you're not being able to really go forward in your business, where all of those things are off. Before you start looking at all that off stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
got to look at the source. The one thing that people, and this is just what I've learned over being myself over these years, okay? 51 years of being me, a few years of coaching people, a few years of
Very
many years of counseling people. And what I've learned about this whole thing is that you show up wherever you are.
Mm,
So no matter where you are in the situation, you show up.
right.
So even if you get to a place where you're about to make a ton of money, if your soul stuff is not right, you will sabotage that opportunity. And you
Wow.
won't even realize you sabotaged it because your stuff is off. You'll think, oh, that mean just didn't go so well. No, it was you.
Mm.
Oh, my second marriage is over. My third marriage is over. You know what? Men are crazy. Uh, uh,
You're the common denominator.
the oh, I didn't want to say it, but yes, that's the truth. The, the common denominator in that situation is not the three men that you
Mm,
married or divorced.
right.
Okay, it's not those people. The only person that was consistently in all three of those relationships is you. So maybe those men were all the same, but guess what? That just means that you keep attracting the same kind of guy. So again,
So what it sounds to me like is that the prerequisite that I would say that is needed is in order you need to have an abundance mindset. But the question is, how do you get this abundant mindset? Because it sounds like it's you have to have the mind right. So I won't
no,
get it wrong, guys. No?
no. People skip that. People say that because it sounds so good to have an abundance mindset. Oh, just think about it. Just pray about it. Just all the money that you, all the love and all the no. If you jacked up on the inside, okay. If your belief systems are off, you get nothing.
Isn't
The
that the
Bible
mindset?
says,
Isn't
no,
that,
the Bible says a double-minded man is
uh-huh.
unstable in all his ways. It
Right.
also says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And it says that, oh, I'm sorry, the last
Well,
scripture that
someone think it, so is he that one?
right, as a man thinketh in his heart. So it is not the mind. No, 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 no. As you think, he didn't say your brain, he said in your heart, which
Mm,
is the seat of your emotions and where you believe. So a
right.
double-minded man, meaning a mind who thinks one thing and believes another,
Right.
you're
Okay.
not going to get anything. So
Mm.
don't even, you can expect to get nothing from the Lord. You can expect nothing
But aren't they
because
interrelated though? The mind and the heart? You know, they're kind of like,
they are interrelated, but only heart sickness cause you to have hope deferred.
oh Lord. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. I do know
That's
that's
right. That's
powerful.
right. That
Uh-huh.
so only the heart sickness is what causes the reciprocation of hope deferred. So as
Mm,
long as you're issuing out sickness, right? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So once your mouth starts speaking the sickness, guess what's coming back? The sickness.
mm.
Once your
The
heart
first
starts,
thing to fix then is the heart. Is that what you're saying?
the first thing that you think you need to fix is your heart. And the heart is the seat of all that you believe.
Mm.
All. Not just the belief things that you're taught at church, but the stuff that you picked up when you were a kid before you had any say so.
So how do you fix the heart then? That's heavy, huh? Deep. It's not the same as
It
not enough
takes
time.
it you have to give yourself the time. That's the first thing. You have to allow yourself grace
Mhm.
to explore. So I teach my people to do a few things. The first thing that I teach them is to look into the heart and to the seat of what they believe. So if something keeps coming up for you, stop and ask yourself questions. The first question is, why is this here?
Mhm.
Second question is, where did this come from? Third question is, if it's not good for you, what is it supporting down there? How is this serving me? How is this making things perpetually the same? What is this making true or true in my life? And I
Right.
say true because facts are different than true. So what is this making true in my life? So
Mhm.
it'll be true for me forever that men are dogs. Okay. Because the heart sickness says that men are dogs. Because my dad left my mom when I was 3 and he came back, or he never came back, or when he did come back, he came back with all his foolishness. And then he left again. And then he had other women, and I watched my brothers, and I watched my uncles, and I watched these people, and all men that are in my relationship, in my life, are dogs. So guess what? I believe sincerely with all my heart, all men are dogs. So then I have to deal with that.
Wow. Wow. So tell me then, from your perspective, what you're saying that people need to give themselves some time in order to acquire this abundant mindset. Is there a sequence of things that they need to do to get to abundance, or is it just?
Well, it's a domino effect almost. So once you start healing, it's like, okay, it's like jumping the fat.
Jumping the
Okay.
fat.
How long you been jumping the fat, Angela?
Since August.
Right. And was it easy when you started jumping the fat?
Oh dear, my body went wacko a few months ago.
Right. Your body went wacko 2 months ago, and you had to pull it back and do a different thing, and pull it back and do a different thing.
Yeah.
And there are times when you'll look at this thing and it'll be like, I want to be here. You decide, I want to be here. I want to believe differently about this thing.
Right.
So what am I believing? What doesn't fit for me? Where do I need to go? What do I want? What will fit there that I don't have right now? Let me go get that. Let me work towards that. Let me believe for that. Let me set up systems so that becomes real to me and attainable for me. And then I cannot just attain it, but obtain it. Because it's a difference between reaching something and becoming and allowing it to become a part of you, right? So you have to not just attain it, but obtain it, grab it, have it become a part of who you are. And then the heart has changed because you've gone from one place to another. Right. You've gotten to the next space. You've gotten to the place where you are able to do all those things, right? But the getting there is the thing. And you have to commit. That's why I said time. Because listen, it took time for me to start for me to stop saying things like, I'm broke. Because no, I'm not. I may not have money at this time, in this moment, or I don't have enough money to do that. No, the truth is, if I think back, I have bought Wendy's, I have been to the hair salon, I have done all of these things that I chose to do instead of being prepared to do this. So I did not choose to do what I needed to do with the money at that moment. And now that this moment is here, I have to choose to not participate. That's the honest truth. Not I don't have money, because yes, I do. I just haven't used it towards that.
Right. So it sounds like that what you say also contribute to whether or not you are able to enjoy abundance. So
well,
your speech is a seed.
Your speech is a seed. Yes. So the thing about speaking and seeds is people need to understand. So the Bible says that the words that you speak are not just stuff, it's spirit and it's life. So it literally is the spiritual logos that produces things out here.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the spiritual fortification. So they say faith is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of what's not seen. It is the stuff that you speak, the things that are hope, the substance that is of the hope of faith that you speak. So it is literally the seed that creates the abundance. People don't understand abundance. They think of it as like, oh, I got $100. That's abundance. Or they think of it, oh, I got $300. Oh, I got $500,000. Oh, that's abundance. No, $500,000 is planting all those $100,000 and letting those perpetually bring you back $500,000 in perpetuity. That's abundance.
So just based on what you just said, what you say kind of creates the abundance. It speaks to it, but it comes from the heart that must be well first, because it's out of the abundance of the heart that the mouth speaks.
Correct.
So the step is that you got to get the heart fixed.
Correct.
So you speak properly.
Correct. That you can think properly too.
So you can think properly. Oh Lord. So that you're right. It is a domino effect. So recently I've been reading this book called The 7 Laws for Uncommon Success that you must honor. for common success. And one of the things that I learned is that it says that we should not speak to our need, we must speak to our seed. Does that mean anything to you?
So, I can give you an example of what I consider to be God's greatest
Mhm.
example for me of
Okay.
what abundance actually looks like. So think of an apple. Okay. Think of an apple, little girl, open up the apple seed, the apple core after you've eaten it. What you see is seeds, right?
Right.
Okay. So what you hold in your hand with those 3 or 4 seeds is apple orchards. But you don't see that.
Right.
You see 4 seeds.
Mm.
Okay. And what you actually hold in your hand is 4 trees that produce 500 apples with 4 more seeds that produce for at least 500 years each seed, which produces 500 apples with 4 more seeds that you can plant and get 500 more apples from the 500 apples with the 4 seeds in it. So that's actually 2,000 trees that you can plant to get, do you know what I mean?
Is
To
that why
get
you love gardening
500
so much?
apples from 2. That's my new passion. That's my newest passion, but
That's
that's
what you're
not why I
speaking
love
to
gardening so much.
agriculture. You're speaking to agriculture,
It's
and that
just
makes
that
sense.
I'm speaking to agriculture, but I'm speaking to the idea that we don't really understand
Mm-hmm.
the power of real abundance
Right.
because we limit it to money, which
Mm-hmm.
is finite. We limit it to the money that we have right now, which is finite.
Right.
When you think about Henry Ford, I always start with somebody who was an inventor because it's easier to grasp that way. Or think about my mascara. Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Maybelline, when she started,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how many products she started with, but she didn't have falsies when she started. She probably had one product that made your eyelashes do something, right? But now, 50 to 60 years later, Miss Maybelline has Maybelline Cosmetics that does your face, that does your hands, that does your eyes, and you got washing stuff, you got stuff to put on your lips, you got gloss, you got stuff for glitter, you have all these things, you got body products. It's this whole thing that
Yeah.
started from one thing. And long after Miss Maybelline is gone, if she isn't already gone, those products are still going to be producing for her heirs
Mm.
in perpetuity, and as many times as they can bend the way you do your lashes. Like, this is the falsies, okay? Because I don't wear lashes, but I like to have the lashes that do like this. So I put these on. Why? Because it has fibers in it. Not all her lashes have fibers, right? So she got the one with fibers, the one without fibers, the one that have like the whole glam look, that
Oh, no, you're
have
talking
more
about
fibers that make you look like, right, all from
I just started
lashes.
wearing the glamnetics. I'm testing them out.
Right, all from,
It's
right.
on.
Yes. But see,
Yes,
I'm
but
saying, but see, she may even at one point come out with something like that. But I'm saying that the idea of the one idea, the one thing that she planted, the thought, the
mm,
belief that
right.
she would be able to make women beautiful, more beautiful than they were by enhancing them with cosmetics. She went from a thought,
Mm-hmm.
right, that she believed in her heart. And I'm sure she talked about it, right? I'm sure she thought about it.
Right.
And then one day she had a product. And
Mm.
that product bought her more money to do what? Invest and make more product, which now brings her bunches of money to do what? When she gets that dollar, that 50 cent, or the $2, $5, I think this stuff is $7, right? So $7 from something that started out, I'm sure was like 50 cents because it was way back in the way back,
Right.
right? Now it's $7 with stuff in it to make your eyelashes longer. It's a whole thing.
It
But it
makes
came
sense.
from
Mm-hmm.
it came from one idea, one thought, one belief, one conversation that she kept having until she had a theme.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
is faith in
what you're
action.
saying is cemented by this this right here. It says the law of the seed simply means something that you've been given will create anything else you have been promised.
That's right.
So what
That's
you
right.
just cemented what you said.
Yeah.
Another thing that
Think about it.
I'm learning is that it says there'll never be a day in your life that you have nothing. That's why you need to inventory your seeds instead of your needs.
Yes. So, and that speaks to a conversation that I had with God when I was living in Michigan in Clinton Township.
Uh-huh.
I was between jobs, and I've never been the one to want a job. I'll say it that way. And this is the truth. I'm not a person who doesn't want to work, but I've never wanted to clock in and out of somebody else's job. Never been me. I've always been somebody who wanted to work and do things. So I was sitting down at my desk and I was in transition. I was in school for interior design and I still had my my administrative assistant business. And it was just after 9/11 and things were a little crazy in terms of my administrative business. And I was like, I needed money. And I was saying, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? And he plainly said, because I was sitting there writing and journaling and talking to him, and he said, what's in your hand? And I was like, what do you mean what's in my hand? It's a pen. Duh. Right? And he said, no, what's in your hand?
Mm-hmm.
And then he took me to the scripture where he was talking to Moses, who was backed up against the Red Sea with the children of Israel all around them and the Pharaoh coming. Like he was on his way to kill everybody.
Uh-huh.
And Moses started going, God, you done brought me here with all these people? And now we're all going to die right here? Seriously? And God said, no. What's in your hand? What's in your hand?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I don't have nothing but this stick, see?
This is a stick.
Oh, nothing but the stick, see? What's up, Lord? What's up? It's a stick. We about to die. You're talking to me about a stick. And he said, stretch it out across the waters and watch me work.
Wow.
Stretch it out across the waters and watch me work.
Stretch it out.
And just like he said, he brought that conversation back to me between he and Moses. He said, now look down and tell me what's in your hand. And I promise you 7 businesses came out of that conversation.
Really?
7 different, I can sing. Okay, so what can you do to sing? Can you do some backup singing? Can you sing at church? Yes, I can. I can sing. I can write? Okay, so what can you write? You got books in you, you have this in you, you have that in you. I can do administrative work. Okay, so who can you call?
Uh-oh, I think we lost her. Well, hopefully we'll get Dawn back. But as you can see, we are very busy discussing abundance and the idea that the seed that we have within us is the opportunity to create abundance. Dawn, apparently we lost her, but I guess somebody was trying to call her.
1, 2, 3 now.
Alexa,
So sorry, I got popped off. Right quick, I got popped off. The person called me again and I hit the wrong button. So
hold on, let me tell Alexa to be quiet too. Alexa, stop. Okay. Unreal. So tell me about the, that conversations with God.
Sorry.
7 business.
So we're having this conversation with God, right? We're having this conversation. And these businesses just started popping out of my hand. And I'm like, oh. So what he means by the seed. Okay, so people get all twisted up about the seed. The seed is the gift that you came here with to this planet with. He equipped us to be all that I've been singing. I've been a perfect pitch baby since I was 3 years old. I've been talking since I was 1.5 years, full sentences. Okay. So I can sing, have always been able to sing. My father was a singer. He was a musician, a master musician. My uncles were musicians as well.
Everybody did all the stuff. They played. They were even actually asked to be a part of Motown. But because my grandfather was a preacher and a pastor, he said, no, Barry Gorder, you can't have my sons. So, yeah, that's why I'm not a Motown kid. Anyway, but there are things that we came here with, right, that are naturally a part of what we are. We don't have to even think about it. We don't even have to try and think about it. Some stuff came out of that conversation that I hadn't even lived to yet. One of them was speaking.
Wow.
What's in your hands?
What's in my hands?
One of them was coaching.
What's a big question to ask, that the person needs to ask himself to unleash their abundance, is look at what they already have in their hand.
Yeah, not only look it up, but get real serious about those things, because those things are the things that give you. So you know how people hate their jobs,
right?
Yeah, people are like, I want to because they don't like jobs. They don't like to work for other people. They want to do it as a contractor. They want to do it as this or as that, or they just don't find joy in their job. Everything that God gave you in your soul to become, there is joy in that stuff. Another part of abundance, because if you don't have joy and happiness and peace within yourself, so that's the whole thing about the self conversation, the self relationship. If you don't have love and joy and peace and happiness within yourself, if you don't love you, if you don't know you, if you're not okay with you being you, instead of wanting to be someone else, there's no space for you to live abundantly. So because you haven't made space for you to be you.
The seed that we're born with, that thing that differentiates me from you and you from the next person, therein lies the opportunity to blossom and to access the abundance. But a lot of times I think what happens is that we're so busy comparing ourselves to other people and wishing we weren't who we are, and downplaying who we are, hiding or being ashamed of who we are, versus embracing the seed that God embedded in us when he sent us here. That's what I hear you saying.
Well, that comes from a lot of things, though. You have to remember that people start getting their belief systems about what can or can't be, or what should and shouldn't be, long before they really have an opportunity to decide for themselves.
Wow, that's true.
And by the time they get to the place where they decide for themselves, or they can decide for themselves, they don't even know that they can decide for themselves. And then when they make the choice to decide for themselves, there's this whole complex of, am I going to leave the people that I love behind? Am I not going to be successful at this because this doesn't match what I was taught? Am I really equipped for this? Is this okay? Is it okay for me to be me? It might not be okay. I mean, like, my mother has never been herself. She never did the stuff that she was capable of doing or wanting to do because other people said she can't. Or my father has never done the things. Or they told me that I need to go to work, go to school, get a job, and get a degree, get a job, and work until I'm 65. And who cares if I don't like it? That's what I'm supposed to do. You're not supposed to like what you have. You're just supposed to do it because that's what keeps you alive in this world. Some people have been taught that. I was even taught that. It just never stuck.
Right.
It just never
You're
stuck.
a rebel. You're a rebel, huh?
I'm not a rebel. I just believe that God has different for me than what people say. Because he's shown.
Like you gave your seed an assignment. You have multiple seeds and you gave them, it sounds like may have given your seed an assignment or instructions or.
No.
What did you do?
I said, God, what do you want? I'm going to give you the backstory and then I'll tell you what I did. So my ex-husband and I had just gotten divorced. And I was walking around my house, very angry, not at my ex-husband, but at the life that I had now that I did not want. And And I didn't because I wanted to be a wife.
You want to be
You
a
know,
wife.
I wanted to be a wife. Like I have wanted to be a wife since I knew what wife was. Listen, I'm wife material, okay? Okay. So I've always wanted to be a wife. I like to cook for you. I like to clean. I like to do all these wonderful things, but I also like to own my own business. I also like to have an opportunity to make my own money. I also like the opportunity to be my entire self. So sometimes when I want to go do karaoke and I want to sing until 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna need you to go hang out with me and listen to me sing until 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. But I need all parts of me. And it wasn't until I had this conversation with God, like, I don't even appreciate this. I don't like my life. I don't like where I live because I didn't like being in Michigan. I don't like any of this stuff. Listen, God, I don't even really like me. Okay? I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I haven't been happy. I don't even know what happy looks like or feels like. So here's what I need you to do, God. I need you, because you know me, because you made me, because you knew me from the foundation in the world. Before you said one word, I was in you. You found me. You said that you found me in you before the foundation of the world.
Wow.
So what I need you to do, because I hate this me, is to make me her. Because I don't want to be me anymore. I don't like me. I don't love me. I hate where I live. I hate being in the cold. I hate all the stuff. I love my family, but we are so dysfunctional. I hate the unity that we have. I hate all the stuff, God, which means I hate this life, but I know you made me to do something. So I'm going to need you to do me a favor. I'm going to need you to show me who you made me to be. And then I'm going to need you to walk with me until I get to be her. And I need you to make me her. I don't want to be me. I don't want to be that person. I want to be the person you made me to be. I don't want to be compared to somebody else.
Wow.
I need to be her.
Powerful. And what did he do for you?
So at that time, I lived in Michigan in the snow, and I had winter anxiety horribly. A few years later, I left that house that I was in. I moved out to Clinton Township, and from Clinton Township, I bought my own house. I lived over my friend's house for a while. And that's when I woke up and realized I was happy. I'd never been happy before. I had been working on myself. So I say it takes time. I had been working on myself. I worked on myself in my home that I was divorced in. And my ex-husband said, you know what? I know I said I was going to let you live here, but no, I'm not. You got to go.
Really? Changes my.
And then I went to my house, my apartment in Clinton Township, because I was just trying to find a place that I loved that was my own. So I went to my apartment in Clinton Township. I liked being in Clinton Township, but it was still snow there. No, I don't want snow in my life, Lord. I don't think you made me for this snow stuff. So we're going to work that out too. And then I went into my friend's house and I woke up, and that was years. That was years between this and this, and years between this and this. And I was trying and I was working on myself, and everything that he said that I was supposed to be, I was writing it down, and I went back to school and I did all these things that he said were supposed to be a part of my life that I didn't even know existed. And I just started working on the list that he gave me. And one day I woke up and I was happy, and I was like, is this what happiness feels like? So I know I never felt this before.
To work on your personal development, it sounds like.
Yes. It's not just my personal development, my spiritual development. In that time,
right, okay.
In that time, my walk with God became so much more important than anything, because that's where the healing for me came.
Right.
I still needed to go to counseling. I'm not going to say that I didn't. I still needed to go to counseling. But the healing from the question and the answer of who did you make me to be, and asking, make me her, and then being willing to walk through the steps to get to her, because it wasn't cute. I'm not saying I'm not cute. Okay. But I'm saying the process. cute, right? So the process was not as cute as I wanted it to be, right? Because you think of the glamour, you think of all the things, the glorious, beautiful, you know, I want to be a worship leader, Lord. I want to be this, I want to be all of this wonderful stuff, right? And then I sold my house that I finally got, that I had been saying I wanted to live in a certain area since I was 5 years old. I used to tell my mom, I want to live in this area. I want to own a house over here. I bought a house over there and I lived there until I got ready, until I got tired. Okay. Truly tired of everything. And I said, okay, God, I guess it's time. I'm selling this house and I'm out of here. I sold my house and I came to California. First winter I ever spent with no snow. And I was like, okay, thank you, Lord. Thank you. And then I started building my life, the life that I love, based on the conversations that I had with him over the time. And my family was like, why are you leaving? Oh my God, you're leaving us. Oh, we can't. What are you going to do all the way in California? Oh my God, it's not going to work. I have money for you just in case. Okay. Got $1,000 set aside just in case you need to come back, or just in case I need to come and get you, just in case. You can't leave. What are you going to do over there? Oh my God. And I looked at all my friends and my family.
You have to take a risk. You have to take a risk.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to take a risk against the naysayers. You have to take a risk against other people's fear that they speak over you.
Wow.
Even though they love you and they're trying to protect you from what they don't know and what they don't understand. They weren't there when I had the conversation with God that said, hey, I don't like this. Hey, can you make me hurt, please? Hey, can I go to, hey, all of these things. They weren't there. They weren't a part of the process of me going from unhappy to happy. They weren't, that was me. Right. That was all me and all God. So when it was time for me to take the next step to actually start living out the dream, child, please. Oh my God, why are you leaving? Oh Lord, it's going to be terrible. I'm going to pray for you to stay here with us. I'm going to pray for you to come back home. I had to tell people, stop praying for that, because that ain't going to happen. You need to use your prayer for something else, because I'm happy. I'm happy. I need you to stop praying for that.
It's about finish here. We're about 30 minutes since we've been on. Are there any last minute tips that you'd like to give our audience in terms of this abundance, living beyond the splinter?
I would.
For abundance beyond the splinter.
So you see, I talked about a lot of splinters. I talked about myself and the life that I was living. I talked about the unhappiness that I felt. I talked about the way that I wanted something different, and that I dared to ask God for it.
Right.
The life beyond the splinter for me, and the one that I can give you the most. You want abundance, you lean into what God created you to be. Period. You lean wholly into what God created you to be, and everybody's words, none of them matter. You live for an audience of one. And if he's not happy, that's who you worry about most. Because guess what? With all of those people that's hanging out talking about this, that, and the other, they won't be standing at the judgment seat with you. When God says, I gave you all of these gifts in your hand, what did you do with them?
And you need to stretch out your hand like Moses, and you didn't do
it.
In other words, you got to stretch what we already possess, what's already in your hand. And I think that once you find out what's in your hand, you need to give it an assignment and start working with it.
Or lean into the assignment that God has already for it. Because I didn't know I was a speaker when I started talking. I didn't know. It was just such a burning thing that I couldn't not do it. But only when it was time. See, I had to get happy. I had to get out of a place where I hated. I had to stop hating my life. I had to learn to love myself. I had all of this work to do before I spoke one word, but it was in me from the time God saw me before he spoke one word and said, let there be one thing.
Wow.
So you don't have to really give it an assignment. It already has one. You have to lean into what God has for you, period.
Okay, that makes sense. So get busy with the assignment.
Get busy. And if you don't know what it is, there's a conversation that you can ask. Okay, guys, she said, You put something in my hand. What you put in my hand?
Mm.
And let them tell you.
What did you put in my hand? So thank
What
you
did you
so
put?
much,
What
Dawn.
is this?
This is a juicy
Well,
conversation.
thank you.
And I appreciate. How can people get in touch with you to help them to discover their the path to their abundance? Because it's in all of us apparently.
Well, it is. It is. He didn't make one person who wasn't abundant. That's how he does it. His life is forever abundance. The
Actually, there's a
breath
scripture that I love. It says, "For I have come that you may have life and
abundant
have it all the more abundantly." I love
to
it.
the full, to the over. That means to the
Full
full and to the overflow. There
and
is no
overflow,
there
not
is
just
no
full,
space.
overflow.
That's right. To the overflow.
Wow.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So how can people reach you so that you can just kind of guide them on this path to discovering their own
So
abundance?
I am at Dawn A on Facebook and at Dawn A on Twitter. On Facebook, I am Dawn Renee Ori, or I am Coach Dawn A. On Instagram, I am Dawn A1. You can also reach me at coachdawna@gmail.com. And my website is dawnori.com.
Dawn Oree, OREE, just in case you don't
Correct.
.com. Thank you again. Here at eSpeaks, we are very dogged, deliberate, and determined about becoming the next best version of ourselves. And of course, being abundant or living the abundant life beyond whatever splinter you may have. And you heard Dawn talk about her splinters. But now she has embraced the abundance that God assigned to her when He created her. And we want to encourage you to come join us in this journey. Thanks again. You can also reach me, Angela Gibson, at evespeaks.com, my website, or you can join us in our group, Angie Speaks Stronger Than Your Splinters. Have a great evening. And once again, Dawn, thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
story.
you. Thank you. I hope all of you are well out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.